Just thinking. Okay, are we live? You said it says the Hangout on air is live. Hit refresh. Yep. Okay, we are live. Okay, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here today for our second Q&A YouTube live session. I'm here today with 5 College of Visual and Performing Arts students who are here to tell you a little bit about their experience coming to JMU from outside of the state of Virginia. If you have questions during this YouTube chat, please leave it in the comments and we will answer your questions as we have time. So I'll go ahead and let our student panelists introduce themselves and we'll start over here on this end.
Hello, I'm Rebecca. I'm a music education major and I'm from Massachusetts.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm a vocal music major and I'm from New Jersey.
Hi, I'm Skylar. I'm a studio art and theater double major and I am from Pennsylvania.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm a musical theater and theater education major and I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a musical theater and modern foreign languages double major and I'm from New Jersey.
Okay, you guys. So I have some questions that we got in advance today to start off with, and then I'll take a little break about halfway through to see how many questions if we've received any additional questions. So our first question, and maybe we can just go down the line and answer this question, is what made you choose JMU? So why don't we start here?
I think, well, I knew that when I was looking at colleges, I didn't want to stay in state. And then I also wanted to have the ability to double major with musical theater. And those are 2 things that JMU offered. And I really did love the campus and love the people. And I definitely saw that when I first visited and then during my audition that everybody in the College of Visual and Performing Arts was really friendly and really open to having new conversations and things like that. And it was really something I was interested in.
So I chose JMU because the program here, especially as it pertains to theater, is a very comprehensive program. I was looking for a theater program where you can perform, but there's also other opportunities and other classes. So like right now, I'm currently in a lot of performance classes, but I also have classes on design, and next semester I'll be directing a show and I'll be in a directing class. So that's why I liked it, because they allow you to do a very broad range of theatrical activities and classes.
Yeah, so for me, I knew coming here, I really wanted a nice environment where people were super friendly, which luckily here at JMU, everyone really is, as well as a comprehensive education that was holistic, not only with just purely arts or just purely going to an art-based school, but I also wanted general education so that I could learn more into the sciences and even art history, which is required for studio art majors, that helps bring the history and the other knowledge towards your work and towards your art, which ultimately helps you build and grow as you learn.
So I chose JMU mainly because of the School of Music. That was a big part of it, because it really stood out to me. I liked the amount of experiences that you could get and just being able to perform a lot. And even in the time that I've been here, I've been able to perform a lot already. And it's just been a really great experience. And everyone here is super friendly, and that stood out to me too. And just being able to broaden my horizons and leave my home state too.
I chose JMU because Massachusetts gets really cold. And I kind of have always hated the cold, so I wanted to go somewhere further south. And then as I was looking at schools, I ended up having JMU recommended to me as a school with a very strong music education program. So it was kind of on the list very early from the beginning and stayed there and got higher on the list as I just came to campus, and it's beautiful here, and it's warmer.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right, next question. So what aspects of the arts program were you drawn to here at JMU that you didn't necessarily see in your home state? Anyone want to?
In terms of like colleges and all that
Yeah,
stuff?
colleges and other university programs or other programs in other states that you might have been considering as well.
Well, I feel like I kind of already said it, but especially with musical theater, there are so many colleges that said if you're coming here, you're just performing, and they don't offer other opportunities outside of that. So I already said this, but I feel very strongly about this. I love JMU because when I met with Kate, who's in charge of the musical theater program, she said, yes, you'll have performing opportunities, you'll be in performing classes, you'll be in musicals and plays here, but you also can explore the tech theater side of things and design things and directing things. So that's what I feel like sets JMU apart. Also because it is a BA in musical theater opposed to a BFA, which allowed me a little more flexibility in scheduling and in choices.
Anyone else have any thoughts about the particular arts program that you were drawn to here?
So when I was looking around at a lot of colleges, when I was like trying to narrow it down for like where to apply, I did listen to like recordings of concerts and stuff just to hear the kind of repertoire schools were playing and also like what I thought of the ensembles and that kind of thing. And I did like JMU's ensembles, they were good, and I really, when I came here for auditions, everybody was very nice and it was very open, and I'm not going to say that other places I auditioned were less so. It's just like that was something that stood out to me a lot.
I was gonna say, I know for me, coming to JMU, there already is a large arts community within the school, but also outside of the school, even around downtown and places like that. A lot of places back home in Pennsylvania, a lot of the schools are much so segregated out in certain areas where they aren't tied to communities and they aren't tied to cities or necessarily art-based areas. So coming here and hearing about all the different galleries that they have openings, like there's things such as First Fridays that the community does here in Harrisonburg, where galleries exhibit new works every first Friday. And it's a good chance to go and check out new works, where it really does build your sense of community within artists of your own grade level and your own area of study, but it also, you have opportunities to go out and build those relationships with people outside of the school.
Okay, so what are some of the fun activities that you've had a chance to explore here in the state of Virginia outside of JMU? When you are able to find a friend with a car, right?
Yeah, I've done a decent amount of things actually. My family came to visit over the weekend for Easter actually, and we went to the lavender farm, which was really cool. So we got to see some of the animals there. I definitely recommend checking that out when you come to visit and when you go here. And we also went to go see the Shenandoah Caverns, which was really neat. That was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, going 60 feet below the ground to see these caverns and just getting a whole tour of them. And it was a really great experience. So that's like the things that I've experienced.
Yeah, the caverns are
Two great things, I'd say.
the caverns are super cool. If you get the chance to visit them, I would.
Yeah.
So
So what are some of the ways that you've learned to deal with homesickness?
Making friends, that's the biggest thing I can think of. You're gonna meet so many people when you come to college, so just making those good connections, but also like keeping in touch with your family back home too, like calling your family like all the time and just keeping in touch with other people and talking to people about their families, because sometimes that helps. Just if you talk about other people, if you talk with other people, you'll realize like you're not the only one who could be feeling homesick, and everyone's in the same position. So
Yeah, and it's true. Sometimes it's like, doesn't matter if your home is 2 hours away or 8, 12, 24 hours away, you know, it's not there right now, and that's one of the adjustments of coming to college. But anyone else, any tips or things that you've done learning how to deal with homesickness?
I haven't really been that homesick this year, but my mom sends me pictures of my dog, which is kind of nice. So there's that.
Yeah.
I think just keeping busy and also, yeah. And also, I mean, a lot of, there's a large percentage of students here that are from New Jersey and that area. So that's kind of nice to have, like I do have a few friends from Jersey, and it's nice to have like that kind of community where I can talk about like bagels and things like that.
It's a very good.
Yeah. So it's nice to have those conversations once in a while.
Nice. All right. So what was your first visit to JMU like, and how was it different from other schools that you considered?
Well, I don't know if it was, well, it was different. I feel like the professors and the students who I spoke with were just so friendly, and you'd think that that would be the case with all colleges, but it actually wasn't. There were a couple of colleges I visited where my visit was just kind of disorganized, and the professors didn't take a lot of time to talk to me. But when I came to campus to visit, the whole day was planned out for me. Kate had scheduled times for me to meet with different professors and just sit down and talk with them. And I visited classes, and students came up to me, and I went to get lunch with students. So it was a very just welcoming environment. And the professors were so eager to answer any questions or just to talk with me, which was actually something I found not actually happen in the other colleges. So yeah, it felt like home, and it felt very welcoming.
Any other memories of coming to tour JMU or that first visit, maybe?
I mean, I know that when I came and toured first year, it was actually during my portfolio review. So I came and I did that, and then I toured Duke Hall right after. And I just remember walking through all the facilities and seeing all the different options and ways that you could create things in large studio space. Coming from a school that only had like one small kind of cramped art room, coming here is insane, and seeing all these different materials and options that you have access to. I just remember going up to the third floor of like the painting studio and just seeing all the mountains and everything. It was just incredible.
The facilities are so nice. I have not seen another performing arts center like Forbes at a college, so
Yes.
that really is cool.
When I first visited, it was like sophomore year of high school, and I wasn't sure then if I was wanted to major in musical theater. So my first visit was kind of just like a regular college visit. So even like when I wasn't focused on the arts aspect as much, it kind of was like really easy to like on just like a regular tour, just like fall in love with the campus and even just like the regular facilities like the library, things like that are open to all students.
Yeah. I mean, JMU has a beautiful campus outside. I mean, we're so lucky in the visual performing arts. I mean, we have this beautiful dormitory for our visual and performing arts students. We're here in Wayland Hall. But there's a lot of really great facilities on campus. What are some of the places that you guys like to hang out outside of the Ford Center and Duke Hall, which I'm sure where you all are living, practice rooms?
I like to hang out I really enjoy walking across the pod. I don't often hang out there, but it's really lovely. Going to the library is great, especially because like the third floor is like it's like another world. It's so quiet and it smells like books and it's fantastic. But just kind of everywhere on campus is like there's all these like tiny places that you can just find that are just really lovely and they're super nice places to just like go like, whoa, this is so pretty. Yeah.
You find a little nook for yourself pretty easily. And even such a large school, there's a lot of places where you can still have solitude and be able to take in the beauty of the campus. All right, so what do you guys like to do on the weekends? And do you think it's any different than your students and friends who are from in-state, or is it you end up hanging out with everybody?
I would say as a theater major, you're rehearsing 6 to 7 days a week, so there's not really, not to scare one, but there's not, as a theater major, if you're involved in a show, some people choose not to be involved in shows and then you do have your weekends free, but if you choose to be involved in shows in any capacity, your weekends are pretty full with rehearsals, but I mean, that's what you want to do, so I mean, there's nothing I'd rather be doing on a weekend than rehearsing. And in the off time, hanging out with friends, doing homework, having a good time on campus.
Yeah, definitely hanging out with friends and take advantage of your weekends. I know you don't want to, you just want to be able to relax, but get your homework done, do some practicing. And I'm also involved in InterVarsity, which is like a Christian group on campus. We have that on Friday nights, which is a nice group to have. So I have some friends outside of the CVPA too, which find some of those, that'll be helpful.
The gym is really nice too.
Yes.
You rec a lot.
Yeah.
And even like checking your emails to see what's happening. I know TDU does like comedy nights on Thursdays and Fridays. There's
Karaoke
always
night.
karaoke, yeah. There's always stuff going on campus and it's easy to find some activity to do and even be like, hey guys, do you want to even like go downtown and get Klein's, which is like the best ice cream around here. Yeah, it's like within walking distance. Yeah, go downtown. It's
Get involved too with other organizations. like within the CVPA and even outside that too, just broaden your horizons.
And I wouldn't even like say that in terms of like in-state students that it's really like a suitcase kind of school. Like I feel like for the most part, people don't really go home unless they have like a family event or like it's just like later in the semester and they just want to go home. So I feel like for the most part, like most of your friends will always be here and you always have stuff to do.
So in a lot of ways, it doesn't even really feel all that different, huh?
No.
I mean, for me, the only difference is like people know the geography here.
Yes,
And that's
definitely.
it's like, I'm going home next weekend, so I can't hang out. But like that's it, really.
Yeah, every once in a while.
All right. So have you found that there have been any advantages that you've had here at JMU coming from out of state, like just knowing a little bit about other things or?
Yes. For I see this as an advantage, other people might not, but I knew not a single person when I came here, which was kind of nice, because it was just like a fresh start, and I just got to meet new people, and no one really knew anything like about me prior to coming here, so that was like kind of cool, I thought. I know the people who they were kind of nervous about that. I was a little nervous about not knowing coming here, but once I came here, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So yeah, I liked that.
You get to kind of invent yourself.
Yeah. No one knew like any embarrassing things over the month.
You told them.
I think a good advantage to being in state is kind of like when you go home, being able to separate yourself from home and school, and just like a bigger divide than maybe being in state. Which is nice.
You get like a broader amount of experiences when you come to school, because most people who are from Virginia, all they know is Virginia. But me, like being from New Jersey, you get so many experiences, like being able to be so close to Philly and going there, and being so close to New York, and just experiencing the arts life in those areas of the country as well. Just so you come in with that knowledge that's just not just Virginia.
I was gonna say, I think sometimes it's super helpful to be out of state because it's a nice like talking piece. I know here or we're in Wayland, we're just the art storm, and people, that is a nice connecting point to talk to people already, but it's also cool to be like, oh wait, my school had those lunches too. Like we had a whole debate over like different school lunches in different areas. Like, yeah, so it's like, it's funny conversation starters, and it's cool to like share those experiences with other people and be able to have that as a jumping off point, and you get to learn more about each other and what other people have experienced. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, it's really, like you mentioned, it's like when I go home, because home is so far away, it's like it's such a nice feeling. Like it's just like you go home and it's like, oh, I can relax. You can't completely, but it's you still have to like practice and do things. But it is like, it definitely makes going home feel very rewarding, just in terms of like every time you go home, it's like, it's great. It's like you're done for now, for a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, what would you say has been the biggest adjustment moving to college? And this can be the kind of thing that this is probably a question that's the same whether you're moving from 2 hours away or 10 hours away. What have you guys found to be some of the adjustments that you had to deal with changing from being in high school and now being in college?
I think one thing is you really are free to make your own choices. So do with that what you will, but you kind of have to hold yourself accountable and make sure you're making the right choices for you. So like, for example, if you have rehearsal on a Saturday morning and it's a Friday night, are you gonna go out and have a good time until 4 a.m? Well, maybe that's not a good choice. And so I found with a lot of my friends, like people were just kind of figuring out like, how do I manage my own schedules? And is it time now that I need to sleep? And so like things or even things like doing laundry or getting food, like things that you kind of take for granted at home, but you kind of have to figure out like how to like adult and make the right decisions to set yourself up for success. So that's kind of, it's a lot to handle at once, but I found that after the first like month and a half, people kind of started to get the hang of, oh, these are the choices I have to make to be successful.
Yeah, and I'd say find your learning style and find your preferred schedule, because I know since just coming out of high school, you're probably used to getting up at 7 or 8 in the morning and going to class till 2 or 3, or even if you have rehearsals afterwards, being there till 10 or 11 at night, which can be a lot. But figuring out, do you work better at night? Do you work better in the morning? And then figuring out your schedule. So your first semester, you might not always have that choice, but you will be able to figure out, what works and what doesn't, and then being able to build and plan for the future, I think is super helpful.
Yeah, it's also, obviously there are not a lot of singles for freshmen on campus. So obviously you have to get used to living with another person.
Yeah.
For the first time if you've never lived with another person, or get used to it again if you don't now. And it's just like, it's an adjustment, especially because, and also you're living with people that you don't really know, especially at the beginning. And that includes you're going out in the morning and you just see somebody that you don't even know the name of, and it's weird. Especially because at home it's like, oh yeah, that's my sister or something.
All right, and maybe we can go down the line for this question as well. So what advice would you give to someone who is considering attending JMU from out of state? Let's start down here and see everyone get their opinion on this question.
Well, in terms of once you get here, I think a big thing that I did that helped a lot was kind of especially during Frog Week, the Welcome Week, kind of not completely keeping myself away from people back home, but kind of being on my phone less and contacting people from home just a little bit less during that week, and just really being open to meeting anybody. And I feel that's how I met a lot of people that I still talk to today, and finding people that are from my area and even across the country. I think that was a big plus for me. And I know some people that just kind of were so attached to being home that they kind of had a slower start to finding their group and their people here. So that was a big thing for me.
Yeah, I think very similar, make an effort to be social and to meet people. And the sooner and the more you do that, then you'll find a really good group of people, and you can kind of settle back a little bit. But even if you're an introverted person, just putting yourself out there and meeting new people, and then it'll work out, and you can just be oh great, I have a good group. I would also say if you do choose to come here, and really I guess this applies to any college you go to, but just doing as much as possible and really seeking out lots of different opportunities, because the people I know who've had the best experiences this year are the people who really sought lots of different opportunities and took any opportunity that came at them, even if it wasn't maybe an opportunity they were initially excited about. For me, I knew I've taken opportunities that have led to bigger opportunities, but the first opportunity I wasn't always the most excited about, but just really get involved, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say along the same lines, get involved, keep yourself busy, especially because again, it'll help you sort of distance yourself from stuff back home and not get so attached to that, which of course that's important, but also putting yourself out there and meeting new people and building those experiences and getting more opportunities is super helpful. So.
Yeah, going off of what they had said too, just embrace the culture of JMU, embrace all that it has to offer. Just get involved as much as you can, put yourself out there, make friends, join clubs, do sports, do whatever you can to just get involved and meet people.
Yeah, they pretty much said it. You have to go out and talk to people. Everybody has to, and it's just if you do it, you'll be a lot happier in the long run, and you'll meet a lot of new people, and they're all super nice. And the only way you can do that is to talk to them. So
one thing that I would add in the first week, one thing that I tried to do, introduce yourself to every person that you pass that you don't know. That's how I made a lot of friends. Every person I passed in the hallway, if I didn't know who they were, I introduced myself to them, and I honestly made so many friends that way. So do that.
Maybe introduce yourself a couple times. You're gonna hear a lot of names.
Make a little notepad.
That's what I said.
All right, so have we gotten any questions coming in yet? All right, well, I want to thank you all all so much today for taking the time to talk with us, and hopefully for those students who are thinking about coming to JMU from out of state, this is some useful information about what it's like here at JMU if you are not from the state of Virginia, which there are a lot. There are a lot of people from outside the state of Virginia, so you won't be alone, that's for sure. So thank you all so much, and send us any additional questions that you might have in the comments, and thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.